The whole thing is riddled with contradictions. She wants more spending, but then she says too many people are addicted to spending. She says the Queen told her, pace yourself. She says, maybe I should have done. And then literally on the next page is saying, why would I have slowed down? What would I have gained from that? It is absolutely potty.
Happy Liz Truss today to everyone who celebrates. Her book is out. She spoke to The Sun's Harry Cole about 10 years to save the West for his show Never Mind the Ballots. She hasn't lost her desire to shake things up. She wants to sack the governor of the Bank of England, get rid of the OBR and also leave the European Court of Human Rights.
We've got to leave the ECHR, abolish the Supreme Court and abolish the Human Rights Act.
So just strip it back out.
Yeah. So
and the British Bill of Rights? I think the Tories tried to do that 3 or 4 times in the last.
I prefer the traditional Bill of Rights that is always. I mean, Britons have been free for many, many years. The idea that human rights were only invented in 1997 is a Blair fiction.
One of the
all that he's invented is rights for people that shouldn't be in our country.
Harry asked her if she wanted to return to frontline politics.
I don't really want to, commit to anything at this stage. What I'm focused on is talking about. I think I have got quite a unique perspective, having spent 10 years in government, having got right to the top, having had numerous battles in 6 different departments. And I want to use that learning.
Now, Times Radio's Matt Chorley has reviewed Liz Truss's recollection of her time as Prime Minister for The Times. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to recollect, would it? Because it wasn't very long, Matt Chorley.
It is an astonishing work of literature. I don't think I've ever read anything like it.
That's a good quote for the back.
Even the people she's got quotes for is mad. So it's like Boris Johnson, Gary Kasparov, the former the world chess player, various sort of slightly out there newspaper columnists. And they're all a bit like her or loathe her. She asks some interesting questions, even they're a bit caveated. They're the quotes on the book.
Goodness me. Did you learn anything new from this book? Did anything kind of, I don't know.
Okay, now I'll focus on one thing that I do agree with her about.
Okay.
She talks about the lack of support for prime ministers in Downing Street. And
is this about Ocado?
Yeah, well, she couldn't get Ocado delivery in. When she was ill, a diary said she had to go to the doctors. The fact that when Boris Johnson was ill, there wasn't a sort of medical support. She was booking her own hair appointments and all that. However, this is from someone who thinks we need a smaller state. She complains that MPs are addicted to public spending. I think there is a good case for saying that the way that we treat our prime ministers, put them in a pokey flat, which is infested with fleas and all that, isn't very good. She rightly draws a comparison to US presidents who have doctors on standby and caterers and chefs and all of that. However, she's not advocating any of that. I mean, actually, the weird thing that she's actually advocating is almost, you might say, a deeper state. But that isn't really what she's advocating at all. The whole thing is riddled with contradictions. She wants more spending, but then she says too many people are addicted to spending. She says the Queen told her, pace yourself. She says, maybe I should have done. And then literally on the next page is saying, why would I have slowed down? What would I have gained from that? It is absolutely potty. Put that on the front cover.
We will do. What about the kind of personalities in there? I don't know, Kwasi Kwarteng, Suella Braverman, Robert Jenrick, etc.
Oh, it's all their fault. Everything,
Right.
absolutely everything is somebody else's fault. It's either an acronym. She doesn't like acronyms, so it's the BBC, the IMF, I don't know, MFI,
the BOE,
probably
the ECHR.
I mean, any number of those
OBR
people. S Club 7, probably.
That's right, though.
Yeah,
I can agree on that one.
Michael Gove. She accuses other people of leaking. Now, I'm not going to give away state secrets here, although she's quite happy to lift the lid on her conversations with the late Queen. I don't think it's impossible to imagine a scenario in which people around Liz Truss would have sometimes leaked things to papers in order to further their career. The lack of self-reflection is, like in any person, is extraordinary.
Is anything her fault?
No.
There must be come on. There must be something.
No,
Are there
at
any
one point,
admissions, concessions?
She concedes that they had a lack of experts who supported their plan, who could go out and broadcast.
Right.
In the when they were doing it, as we found, we were constantly, she was the newly elected leader of the Conservative Party, new prime minister. Every day it was very easy to get people to come on and say what she was doing was the wrong thing to do. It was really hard. It wasn't the lack of trying to get people to come on Times Radio and say it was the right thing to do. And what she can't quite make the leap to is maybe the lack of experts was because people who knew what they were talking about thought it wasn't the right thing to do. And even the people who did support what she was doing actually moved away from, Gerard Lyons,
Yes.
Mark Littlewood, we've got coming on later on. Those people who did support at the beginning, even they went a bit quiet come the end.
Well, we could see Gerard Lyons moving away.
Backing
in
away.
real time.
We had
Homer Simpson disappearing into the hedge.
Yeah. Because actually, he's quite an interesting economist. And then we always say, and he advised Liz Truss, and almost the first thing he says to us is, well, I didn't advise her that closely.
Yeah.
And I didn't see her when she was in Downing Street.
How serious do you think she is about Act 2, the return?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how serious she is about it. There is literally no way that Liz Truss is going to become leader of the Conservative Party again. There is, let's not forget, she talks about
So 21,000 votes, more than Rishi Sunak last time around. Do you think all those people...
Yeah, and by the time she went, I think off the top of my head, 75% of Tory members thought she should resign.
It depends, though, who the other choices are, as we've seen, doesn't it?
But she wouldn't get on the ballot. She got on the ballot through Tory members. I will literally eat a lettuce.
Oh, come on.
I will eat.
What
What,
kind
what
of
do you want me to
lettuce?
eat? What there
You have to eat your hat.
It is. I will eat a hat. I will wear a lettuce as a hat.
Lettuce covered in arsenic.
Fine.
An arsenic lettuce.
And I think actually the thing that I think she's found surprising during her. Actually, the clips that you just played were a bit unfair, really, because they made it sound like she was a serious figure being asked serious questions. Actually, I think the thing she's found is she's gone around doing all of the interviews, weirdly not on Times Radio. For some reason, she doesn't want to speak to me, it's extraordinary. Is how unseriously anyone is taking it. When you've got Chris Mason on the 10 o'clock news saying a normal person, humiliated the way she was, might have gone and run a B&B in Crete. And he asked her, isn't it humiliating? She said, I wouldn't say humiliating. It is humiliating. She became Prime Minister. She's
doubling down,
Everyone told her, if you do this and do unfunded tax cuts, you will crash the economy and it won't work. And it's not that people blew her up. She did what she said she was going to do, and everything that everyone said was going to happen happened.